And one. What's going on, everyone? This is On the Block Football Preview Podcast, of course, for NFL Week 13. Oh, it's going to be a crazy week. Of course, I know we had a nuts week last week, but of course, we have our boy Joe. Igor, you had some music you want to play for our boy here?
Yeah, we got to give Joe the appropriate intro here where he's at. So let's get it going.
Oh shit!
He was not ready. He was not ready for that, man. But hey, Joe, I wish you had the numbers too for everything we did last week, to kind of see exactly where we are. But you probably don't have it on you, do you?
If someone wants to pull up the group chat, we have them there. If someone wants to do it,
Okay.
at the time being, yeah, we could do that.
I'll see what I can do over here.
Yeah, see what we can do. Let me get into it. But yeah, really big. December 5th coming up. Really big week 13. You know, a lot of division implications showing up this week as well too. But I want to start with the game in my favorite coach in the NFL, Matt Nagy. Okay, so going to Chicago. I've got Arizona favored by 7.5 points, 7.5 points. Taking on the Chicago Bears there. Joe, you want to give your take on this game?
Like, Chicago's been playing better as of late. Obviously, with the Thanksgiving game, a little bit more rest. I know we say it all the time, but I feel like there's not really much worth to that. I feel like if you're coming off a shorter week, then it's rough. But I think when you get that extra rest, from my memory, teams don't really do too well. But Arizona just keeps winning every week, right? Like, we've bet against them every week. Quarterback's been down, injuries the whole time. Coming off a bye, to be honest, I feel like maybe the law of averages kind of, takes a spot here. I'm going to go with Chicago because Arizona's been covering so much. Now, who knows? Chicago might end up pulling us out, but 7.5 points is what it's at, I believe. I'm going to go with the Bears. Yeah.
Go to Bears. Rob, take on this.
I'm with Joe. I'm not going to play this game because I'd have to play Chicago, and I don't have the skin for that right now.
Yeah.
It is just looking at the weather. It looks like it's 42 Fahrenheit, 80% percentage of precipitation. So it's going to be raining. I don't know if what we're going to get out of Kyler being he's probably not going to be 100%. The elements. I'd probably play Chicago here if I was, but I'm not gonna touch this game.
I'm not gonna touch this game. One thing is that Kyler Murray has not had a full practice yet. They kind of tweaked him out. They put him out for like half an hour and then brought him back in before media came in. So Arizona's media is just going nuts right now. But Igor, you're taking this game as well too.
Yeah, I think the situation is again they're likely going to have Kyler and DeAndre back, but again the Bears do tend to play quite well at home, and again 7.5. Kyler's might come back, and they're saying it's going to be like game day decision, so they're not 100% sure that they'll play. I think there'll be some growing pains. I think the Cardinals will win the game, but the Bears will cover.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I just saw.
Yeah, Fields is doubtful as well. I think I'm going to roll with the Arizona Cardinals at 7.5. That's a lot of points, man. I'm just going to go in the win. I'm going to stay away from this game as well too. I think this is probably the least touchable game this week. Well, that's one thing I want to kind of get out of the way. Matt Nagy should be fired. Saved his ass last week. I'm glad, but at the same time, he should be out of there very, very soon. All right, going on to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are favored by 7 points against the New York Jets this week in MetLife Stadium, I believe. Rob, you're taking this game. You're taking the Eagles. You trust the Eagles and Sirianni at all?
Yeah, I do actually. I did not like the Eagles last week, as I believe me and Joe both said that it's kind of a flat spot for them. That everybody thinks they figured them out, but the Eagles are very mediocre. I think Zach Wilson is back this game, which might be a downgrade. Could be a downgrade for the Jets. I'm going to go with the Eagles here. It's a lot of points, but I'm leaning Eagles.
Igor?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles were pretty disappointing against the Giants last week. Hurts had a terrible game. Nothing really went well. It's definitely a bit of a bounce back situation, and the teams that you like to bounce back on are the lesser lights, and the Jets are lesser lights. I think the Jets are pretty much packed it in for the year. 6.5. I'll take the Eagles to win by a touchdown. I'll say they cover.
You have to bounce back. Joey, go ahead. What do you think?
No, man, I'm going to have to go with the Jets. I'm going to go with the
Wow.
Jets. Remember last week I said Giants and Jets sweep. I took the Jets off, and the Jets ended up covering as well. They win their game. I feel like, and like I said, going into last week's game, I said, once you feel like you figure out a team, let's kind of try and go the other way because Vegas doesn't lose money, right? And a lot of public money, including yours, Brandon, was on Philly last week. And as people are watching the game, like, oh my God, what's happening? And this is just football. This is what happens. Once you think the team's going to win big because they're on a roll, they don't. For that reason, I'm going to take the Jets because I feel like not too many people will be taking the Jets, and to travel on the road, win by more than a touchdown, I'll go with Zach Wilson. I'm not not too happy putting my money on him, but I'll take the Jets.
And they're coming off a big win in Houston. It's still Houston, but yeah, no, yeah, but definitely, there's definitely a stinker last week. Jalen Hurts played terrible. They need a bounce back game. I put a lot of money on the Eagles this year, and I've won some money. I've lost some, so I'm gonna stick with the Eagles here. 7 points. I think they actually cover this game. I think it might be a route too, but yeah, definitely. Joey, I'm gonna circle this game because I think you're probably gonna win too. All right, going on to I believe it's AFC West. I'm not too sure, but it's your division, Igor. Indianapolis Colts against the Houston Texans. Indy is favored by 10 points going to Houston. Do you agree with this, or are you going to stick with the Colts here? What are you going to do?
My division, my division's the Patriots division, but anyway.
Sorry, I meant Joe. My bad.
This is my division.
I said Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, like you guys have been singing the Colts praises all year. I think that they're probably going to cover this one. I said, been saying this too. The Texans seem to be double-digit favorites, if anything, 14-point dogs every game. Defeated Tennessee, but I'm going to take the Colts here to win big. I think that Houston going to struggle to score. Look for that shutout for possibly the Colts, but I'll take the Colts big. But I'll take the 10 points. I'll eat it in this scenario.
You agree, Igor?
I think Jonathan Taylor's going to eat significantly. I think, and I was really disappointed with the Texans last week and how they played against the Jets. Again, the Colts offense is humming. That running game is humming. I don't think the Texans have enough firepower to keep up with them. I'll say the Colts win by a couple touchdowns. Colts cover.
Rob?
Colts are really good.
Really good.
Really good. I think the one thing, if Tennessee wins this division, I think this is a miscarriage of justice. Last week, the Colts had 5 turnovers in a football game and almost beat the defending Super Bowl champions. I think that's incredible. They still should have covered. They didn't. Obviously because of that Leonard Fournette touchdown. But I have just elevated the Colts to number 10 in my power rankings. And anybody that has been following knows that whoever gets in the 10 spot loses the next week. I don't think the Colts lose, but I don't know if they cover the 10, so I would go Houston here plus the points.
I'm really interested in seeing who your top 10 teams are, because I think the Colts are actually in the 5-1 range right now just because of how they've come on. It's just Carson Wentz is keeping them back. But I want to get back to your top 10 really soon, but I'll go with the Colts as well. I think Jonathan Taylor is a MVP candidate. I think he's the best running back in the game right now. Let me know if you beg to differ. But yeah, I think this is definitely be a route in Houston for sure. All right, moving on to my game of the week. All right, you probably can assume which game this is. The Cincinnati Bengals going up against the LA Chargers in Cincinnati, of course. The Cincinnati Bengals are favored by 3 points. I love that line right there. I'm just going to kind of jump out and say I think the Bengals will win this game. I think Joe Burrow, if you were to go Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and do the draft over again, Joe Burrow just has balls, man. So I'm probably going to go Joe Burrow. I'm probably biased there. So I'm going to go with the Bengals there in Cincinnati. I might be terribly, terribly sad after this game. But Rob, what do you think about this game, man?
This is like an awful spot for Cincinnati. Awful. Yeah. Beyond awful. The Chargers are going to cover. The Chargers are going to win this game. This is a Chargers game. Chargers coming off a loss, a divisional loss on the road, now going back on the road. Cincinnati coming off a huge divisional win. It is an awful spot. And I heard a stat a couple weeks ago, teams off a loss against the spread versus a team's off a win against the spread, I believe is in the 70% range. Awful spot. I think I'm getting the better team here. I think Cincy's overvalued because of the win last week, a big blowout win. Bettors are like goldfish, and we don't remember past 2 weeks. So a lot of the public's going to bet on Cincinnati. I think the Chargers are easily the side here.
Igor?
You know what? I was, we went back and forth with that Pittsburgh game last week, and about the whole TJ Watt thing. Man, the Bengals just absolutely spanked them. After that performance, I'm really, Joe Mixon was cooking. They got T. Higgins involved. They didn't even get much out of Jamar Chase. I just think they're just a much better team, probably on both sides of the ball. So, with only a 3-point spread, I'm taking the Bengals to win the game by a field goal.
Joey?
Newsflash, the better team doesn't always win the game.
That's true.
That being said, we've been comparing the quarterbacks for, I guess, at least since we've been doing the show, and I've been doing my friends since last year, between Burrow and Justin Herbert. And obviously, the Chargers are the team that's been reeling, right? Like we talked about that trap game last week, and it was a trap game. Denver won, and nobody took Denver. I don't think, like even in the public. So looking at this one, I love Cincy last week. I know Brandon, we were talking about it, but I'm gonna have to go with the Chargers here. I have to, like you said, like you're gonna give me 3 points. I feel like this is a team. The season is a roller coaster ride. You're gonna have your ups and downs. I feel like the Chargers are gonna turn around at this point and start going on their upward. So I'll take the Chargers plus the 3. But I think it's gonna be an amazing game, and I want to watch that one.
You guys realize it's gonna be a cold game,
A lot
right?
of
So
firepower.
Justin Herbert going to a cold Cincinnati. It's gonna be cold. I don't know if he's built for it. I don't think he's built different.
We
Joe
played
Burrow's
in
built
Oregon,
different.
right? Obviously, maybe it's not as cold, but it's further north.
Yeah, I guess you have that, but the entire team's got to play together. Circling that game right there. All right, moving on to the defending champions, Super Bowl champions. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are favored by 10.5 points versus the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. I believe the Atlanta Falcons, if Cordell Patterson plays, they actually play well. If he doesn't, then they're not going to do well. I think right now he's questionable, or he should be playing. That's something that we're getting into really soon. But Rob, what do you think about this game, man?
Easy one here. Atlanta plus the 10 points. Tampa's coming off a Fugazi Road win and cover. So Atlanta here, I believe Atlanta's off a loss, a tough loss, if I remember correctly.
Every loss is tough for them, Rob.
Yeah,
They won last week.
they won.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they beat the Jaguars.
Oh,
last
they
week.
beat Jacksonville. That screwed me big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tampa's as good on the road. I think this is a spot where they're going to kind of lack a little bit of focus. They've got Buffalo, New Orleans, Carolina upcoming. So it might be a look-ahead spot. And let's not forget that Atlanta and Tampa played already this year. And it was 48-23 Tampa. But it was
back and forth, yeah.
It was 27-25, I believe, with like 6 minutes to go. So I think Atlanta's going to play them tough. It makes no sense for Atlanta to win or cover this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I'm going to take Atlanta.
All right, Joey.
Yeah, like I don't love either team in this situation. Like Tampa is another team for the most part. They're usually a double-digit favorite. Last time I took them was when they beat the Giants pretty big on the Monday night. I'm probably going to agree with Rob, and I'm probably going to take Atlanta here. I don't know if I'm going to be putting any money on it, but yeah, traveling on the road, Atlanta's a terrible team. Injuries have taken them. Obviously, they talked about Ridley and a few other guys that have been out for a while. The defense is not good, but I'll take the points in this situation. I'll take the 10.5 and take Atlanta.
That's smart. Igor, go ahead, man.
I mean, I would lean toward Atlanta, but looking at how they've done against teams that are actually, good this year, they just have every time they faced a decent competition, they've been beaten up pretty bad. 43-3 by Dallas, 25-0 by the Patriots. At Tampa, they lost 48-25. Very hard to trust them in a lot of these situations. They beat the Jets. They beat Miami team that was struggling. They beat Jacksonville. I'm gonna say that Atlanta covers the game because these division games are usually again a little closer than the 10.5. So I'll take Atlanta. I'm not thrilled by it because it doesn't look like, again, when they play the cream of the crop, they tend to really fold pretty badly. And I think a lot of it does depend on Cordell Patterson, which who would have thought that at the beginning of the year, right?
Who would have thought,
That's crazy. A journeyman, kick returner, a wide receiver has basically been their best player. So I'll take them to cover because I think Tampa, will win the game, but are not going to try to really blow them up badly. So, yeah, I'll take Atlanta to cover.
Yeah, I think this is a clean sweep. I think Cordell Patterson is playing the ultimate Swiss Army knife. Better Swiss Army knife than Taysom Hill, as we've seen. Lost me a lot of money there, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons plus 2 points.
And also forgot to mention the Tampa Bay secondary. Safety is going to be missing. There's again with the whole vaccine situation, no vaccine card or the fake.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that secondary is going to be in a little bit of shambles. They're already missing a bunch of players there. They can be beat through the air. So again, that should at least keep Atlanta in it relatively.
Yeah, and Russell Gage is playing well. I think Kyle Pitts is obviously not missing the game. He's playing really well too. So yeah, I'm going to take I think we're all in agreement there. Clean sweep. I'm going to circle that game right there. We're going to go to the game of the Belichick disciples. All right, Miami Dolphins with Brian Flores against Joe Judge and the New York Giants in Miami. Miami's actually coming off a win. They're actually playing really well, and I think they're 6-7. Double check there. Yeah, 6-7.
Ever since they won that Baltimore Thursday night game,
they've been rolling. They've been rolling. But Joe, take it away, man. What do you like in this game?
So I looked at the total right now, and the total is at 39. And typically when it's that low, 39.5, usually I go with the dog. That's just like a rule. And Tua has been playing really well. Miami's been playing really well. We talked about their defense for most of the season, and I feel like their defense finally coming around too. Giants, no juggernaut where you kind of have to worry about, is this team going to get blown out? Too much offensive power, not the case. So I guess I'm going to take the Giants just based on the fact, like I said, it's Miami's been dominating. I think Miami's still going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. So I'll take the 6.5 points there and take the dog.
You're betting on Mike Glennon. Daniel Jones is out.
That's a better look, I think, right? I'm safer betting with Mike Glennon than I am with Daniel Jones.
Igor, take it away, man. Igor.
Well, again, I don't know how much of it's really. I think Jones can, run a little bit better, but again, it's not exactly like you're replacing a top-notch quarterback. But I am a little bit, there's no Kadarius Toney. There's I believe I think Golladay is back, but I know there's no Sterling Shepard again. I think Miami's been rolling, at home. I think they've been the second hottest team next to the Patriots. So, if I can get it under a touchdown in a home game there, I'll take the Dolphins to win by a touchdown there.
There you go. Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess with the confirmation of Daniel Jones being out, this line spiked from 2.5 to 6. I don't know why. I'm with Joe. I feel like Mike Glennon gives you just as good an option to win. So basically, I'm getting a few points of value here, which is great. I've never seen this before. New York Giants, 24th ranked offense versus the Miami's 24th ranked defense, and the Miami offense ranked 26th, and the Giants offense or defense ranked 26th. So the exact same kind of rankings, which is very interesting for me. I think the Giants don't get a lot of respect. They've had probably one of the toughest schedules, and they're holding their own. They're 6-5 against the spread. I don't think they get the respect they deserve. I'll go with the Giants here plus the 6. I know Miami's playing well. Brian Flores has got them. I think Brian Flores is a great coach, and Miami's trending in the right direction. But I think they're 4-0 against the spread the last 4. I like to fade those kind of teams. I'll go with the Giants here.
I just think Tua is just rolling right now. The 6.5 points. I think they win by at least a touchdown at home against a team that's obviously reeling a little bit. And Saquon has not played exceptional as of yet, right? So I'm going to take the Dolphins there, but. Yeah, we'll circle this game as well too.
Oh yeah, circle that game. I think
circle that way for
Give
sure.
Me Giants money line.
Giants money line. Wow, that's the pick of the week. All right, moving on to of course Dan Campbell. I always get so sad when I mention his name in the Detroit Lions, but Detroit Lions playing the Minnesota Vikings in Detroit. Vikings are only favored by 7.5 points. Igor, what do you think about this game, man?
Man, The Vikings have been a mixed bag pretty much all year, but it's very hard to freaking trust the Detroit Lions. I mean, a home game where you're getting, a touchdown and so forth. But I think, the Vikings won't have Cook, but again, Madison's just as good in my opinion. He's a solid replacement. I think Jefferson's starting to really hit his stride and so forth there. I can see the Vikings really laying it to them and winning by 2 touchdowns. I know the Lions are coming off some good rest because they played on Thanksgiving and so forth, but they're just a really bad team. And if I'm only going to get a touchdown, I'll take the Vikings to cover the 7 points because I think the Vikings are just a better team. It could be a really great day for Kirk Cousins.
Hope so. Rob,
1 o'clock, of course it's going to be.
Oh yeah, last 1 o'clock game there. There you go.
Yeah, I again, Minnesota has had a really tough strength of schedule. I think they don't get the respect they deserve either. Detroit's a bad team. Let's call a spade. But you can play on emotion. I think we see, like you saw the Bills on Thursday on Thanksgiving, played on emotion. There's only so much emotion you can play on. I thought that the Lions gave it their all on defense last game. I think this is their kind of like mail it in
last week.
Yeah, and I know they have extra rest, but if I were to do anything here, I think I'd actually lay the points and take Minnesota as well.
Wow. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to ask if someone could pull up in the meantime just the spread against the record, but I feel like with Detroit, and I was going to ask you guys, I didn't want to interrupt at the beginning, but how funny was that Dan Campbell meme that I sent earlier in the week?
Right.
When you get the job versus after like halfway through the season, and you want to feel for Campbell because it's tough to see how good of a coach this guy actually is. He's probably not incredible. But at the same time, like those guys are playing hard. But I just, like you said, Brandon, like they just don't have the talent. Swift's out as well. Goff, I've talked about him countless times. I think he's terrible. Like, I feel like he was 7 for 7. His accuracy numbers when you're throwing 5-yard passes have been pretty good, but he throws a lot of picks. He's just not a great quarterback. Typically, I want to lean with the dog here, but why are we betting on Detroit for? What have they shown us this year? Nothing. And I feel like
Okay.
they've covered too many times. That's why I was asking if they can get like a spread record. But I feel like they've covered more times than a winless team at this point in the season should. So
Do
based
you
on that alone, yeah.
They covered
Do you-
last week for sure.
do you
That's
want
what
to
I'm saying.
guess? I got their spread record here. Do you guys want to guess what
I
their
want to
spread
guess they're
record
a
is?
game above 500.
So you think they're 6-5? Anybody
I
else?
think they're 5-7.
I'll say that again. They've only been really been blown out a couple times. I'm gonna say 7-4.
7-4
Yeah,
against
that's
Oh,
what
the
I'm
man.
saying.
spread.
Like, that's insane. That's my
Wow.
lock of the week right now. Give me Minnesota by the 7.5 because there's no way that they should be covering that many times. A team that's that bad.
I think
Well,
I
it's
stopped betting them.
because they've been getting such huge spreads, right? It's easier to cover the huge spreads than the smaller ones, right?
No.
If you're getting like 10
Yeah, I
points
really-
every week, right? Like
I don't want to say it's easier, but I'll go. Yeah, okay. Minnesota, lock it
Minnesota.
in. Press the
Yeah,
button. Yeah, let's go.
Minnesota. I think everyone's got to go in Minnesota. Lock it in. All right, now
That's the
going
siren.
to. Hey, listen. I know Urban Meyer's gonna have a great time in LA. You know, who knows where he's gonna be after the
You know
game.
who else is gonna have a
Or
good time in
before the
LA?
game. Yeah, like those little fingers. Well, you got the LA Rams going up against Jacksonville Jaguars. It's gonna be electric. Hey, I would love to be around Urban Meyer wherever he goes in the bar.
I'm
Got
gonna find him in the club
Rams.
tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're there. You're there. Yes, you got to look for Urban Meyer, man. Look for his two fingers. The Rams are going up against Jacksonville Jaguars in LA, SoFi Stadium. They're favored by 13 points. This is a tough one, I believe. I'm just going to jump in and say I'm going to go with the Rams. The Rams usually the bigger spreads. I believe they've actually are 2 above 500 for the bigger spreads over 10 points. I actually looked it up. I have to find the stat again. So I'm going to take the Rams for a bounce back game. They lost 3 in a row. Guys like Van Jefferson, OBJ, those guys, they have to play better. Tyler Henry's got to play better. Defense got to play better as well too. And I think this is a game where they just come out and dominate and win by around 2 or 3 touchdowns. Rob, what do you think about this game?
I mean, it'd be very hard for me to lay 13. I'm gonna wait. I think to play on the Rams, but I think the Rams are the team that everybody's now slept on. That we've kind of pushed them to the back burner and said, they're not that good. I think the Rams are gonna make some noise come playoff time, and that's gonna be my thing. I just don't want to play on them yet. It's too big of a number. Jacksonville coming off a huge blowout loss to
Atlanta.
to Atlanta. Yeah, 3 straight losses. I'm gonna take them to cover 13, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams blow them out here.
Yeah. I got to talk to the guy in LA right now, Urban Meyer's buddy. Joey, go ahead, man.
I don't know about Urban Meyer's buddy, but I didn't even look at the spread before last week, and I just, like you said, I know they came off a bye. They lost to Tennessee. They've lost a bunch of games. There's a 2 or 3 in a row at this point. San Fran as well.
3 in a row.
This is to me, this is a game they turned it around against a really terrible team. I think that the defense is going to come around this week. I don't have really much faith in their offense with OBJ. I know that we talk. OBJ is going to break out, guys. We've been waiting on this for a long time. New team, new quarterback. He's running out of excuses. And, it really sucked that Woods went down. But, yeah, Jefferson's going to have to step it up. Cooper Kupp. I think that these guys are really going to put in the work and blow out Jacksonville this week. I don't think Jacksonville's going to score against a defense this elite, right? Like, there's going to be pressure coming up the middle. They're going to lock down whatever. Who do they have? Chanot is the receiver that's left standing?
Yeah. Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones. Yeah, he broke his ankle or whatever earlier in the season. I just think that it's going to be a really big win for the Rams and a big party.
Igor?
So I'm on the pretty much the line of thinking that most people are in terms of this, but the one issue that I have is that Stafford's health is really in the bag. Like he's like a walking, like I don't even know what you would call him at this point. Like everything is busted up with him. Henderson might not be able to play, so they might rely on Sony Michel in the run game. Everything points to the Rams. Like they've lost 3 straight. They're gonna blow them right out. And Trevor Lawrence has been mediocre at best all year. It's tough to lay 13 with a busted up quarterback because the Jaguars defense actually for the most part isn't half bad. The offense just freaking stinks. I'm gonna still take the Rams, but it won't be in my top 5 or anything. Simply because
you teed that
information.
Trevor Lawrence was even halfway decent. Like you just can't, because at the end of the day, I'm just leaning towards the Rams because it all points there. But like I said, Stafford's just like walking wounded. It wouldn't surprise me if the Jacks cover, but I'm gonna take the Rams.
That's a great point. And you teed it up to take Jacksonville. And then no.
I didn't have the courage to trust Urban Meyer in LA because Bradley talked me out of it at the end of the day. Who knows what he'll be doing? You know what? Fine. I'll take. I'll take the Jaguars to cover the spread.
I'm going with Iggy. I just saw this. 74% of the picks are on the Rams. So yeah, I'm Jacksonville. I'm all on board.
Wow.
Okay, Rob.
Wow.
Every time
You guys-
everybody's on a team, though, they can't go the other way. I wish we had a
I
stat
got
for
it.
that, remember? Because
I
I feel
got
like
it.
every
Yeah,
time
we-
we're like, 70% of the money, and all of a sudden that team
Yes,
wins by 30 points, right? Like, come on.
If it's over 69%, Rob's gonna call it out. The money
I'm
doesn't bet
all over it.
all
Yeah,
over
if,
that.
Sta-
So, hey,
if Stafford was healthy, this would be a gimme. But because he's so busted up, like, and they really haven't been playing well.
I think they're going to
Really
get a
haven't
defensive
been playing well.
touchdown, too, to be honest. I think you're going to see a pick six here.
I could see that happen with that Lawrence is playing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if they manage the game decently, I mean, it could be reasonable at the end. I thought the Rams will win the game, but
I don't think
Yeah.
Jacksonville's going to move the ball.
hey,
That's
Trevor
fine.
Lawrence, is he a bust?
Okay, so I
think
wanted
he's
to
a
get to that.
bust.
So let me just jump in for this
Yeah.
Thursday. So one of my best friends is a Jags fan, and I asked him the question because we've been talking about it all year, and he did bring up a pretty good point. Their O-line's atrocious, and he has nobody to throw the ball to. Their Sid Etienne's been out for the season. Like, they have no weapons. So it's like you're coming into a new league. Obviously, everything's incredible, but he has nobody to help him out. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. Obviously, it hasn't been great, but I kind of heard that, and I was like, I can't disagree with what he said.
I think
Wow.
Urban Meyer just hasn't, like, he's relying on guys that have been like bit players in the NFL, and it's not like a Cordell Patterson situation. Like they're not even throwing to Chenault. They're targeting, like, Agnew's out now, but like they've been targeting guys that were like literally like Tavon Austin, guys that have been around the
Austin.
league who are just bit players. And to me, it's a lot of Urban Meyer's like offensive strategy that really kills him. James Robinson's been really a shell of what he was last year. He's a good weapon when he's used appropriately, but to me, they're just throwing Lawrence under the bus because their game plans stink.
But I was going to say, how
Dangerous.
good of a running back can you be? Like, and I think that he's been pretty good. But like I said, when you're running the ball every time because you can't throw the ball, stack the box. I don't care if you're Derrick Henry, you're probably not going to get too
Sure.
many yards.
It puts a good
Yeah.
point.
First of all, what do you have to do in life to become a Jags fan? Yuck. But anyways, I just wanted to say that. Anyways, moving right on to Vegas. This is going to be a good game too. But the Raiders were favored by 1 point against the Washington football team in Las Vegas. J.D. McKissick's out. Antonio Gibson hasn't really played great, but Tyler Heinicke's actually been fun to watch.
Yes.
Joe, I want to start with you there. Who do you have in this game?
So 1 point favorite, Vegas. Vegas went through, obviously, the beginning of the season, they were really good, and then they hit the law of averages. They came back to normal. And now I feel like Washington has kind of hit their stride because we've been waiting for them all season. We thought they were the team that was going to compete with Dallas in that division, right? I feel like they've won their fair share of games for the time being. And I'm going to go Vegas here. So Washington sitting at 5-6. That's probably where they should be, around 500. I don't think they're going to get to 500 this week. I'm going to take Vegas. I think that they're going to have, like Igor was talking about, that nightclub atmosphere in Vegas. I'll go with the Raiders minus the 1.
Igor, go ahead.
You know what? It's an interesting game because and the Raiders' offense relies a lot on Darren Waller, and he's out for the game.
He's out, yeah.
So and Washington, a lot of it, like J.D. McKissick got injured last week. He's out there. So and then I'm pretty sure that Chase Young is still not ready to play for Washington. So
He's up for the year, I believe.
Done for the year,
ACL.
man. Yeah, he's up for the year.
Oh, I didn't know it was an ACL tear. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know what? Washington off a short rest, getting to go to Vegas. That to me just smells disaster right over there. I'm going to take the Raiders to win the game there and cover.
3 in a row
Foster.
for Washington.
Yeah, Foster Moreau season. Foster Moreau's a really good replacement for Darren Waller. He's played
And
really
also,
well.
and the Raiders are on good rest because they played on Thursday as well. So and they beat the Cowboys, so they're on a nice high.
Rob?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting an extra 4 days of rest. Igor just touched on it. Washington 3-0 against the spread and straight up the last 3. I don't think they're that good. There's going to be regression. Tough for the look ahead. Washington has Dallas, Philly, Dallas, so 3 straight division games, which are going to be much more important than this game. Although Vegas has KC, Cleveland, Denver, so 2, and they have their division leader next week. So I don't know what to make of the look ahead, but in a short line like this, the extra 4 days, I'll go with Vegas as well.
Yeah, I'll go with Vegas. Vegas is actually second in the league in passing yards. For some reason, second in the league in passing yards, sixth in the league in total offense altogether. So it's one of those teams that drive the field, but then kick a field goal on the 1 yard line. That's literally what they've been the entire year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's really, really interesting to see exactly what this game is going to turn out to be. But I think it's going to be Las Vegas with all the injuries that Washington has and kind of go from there. Especially Washington Football Stadium, by the way, that's where ACLs go to die. Alex Smith,
Yes.
Case Young,
Remember all the
Robert Griffin,
quarterbacks last
RG3,
year,
arguably all of their ACLs go to die
It's a
in
cursed
Washington.
field, yep.
Really cursed, right? But going from there, from a cursed field to a cursed player in Ben Roethlisberger in the Pittsburgh Steelers, going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's a 4.5-point favorites, playing in, of course, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I'm going to start with Rob. What do you have in this game? You think it's going to be a surprise? You see any underdogs winning here?
Yeah, Pittsburgh is one of probably 2 or 3 organizations that are, have a proud heritage, history. They got absolutely demolished last week. This is a game where don't watch the game, just bet on Pittsburgh and then check the score after, because it's going to be close. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to raise your blood pressure. But if you want to make some money, just bet Pittsburgh and just check at the end of the game. I believe they said they've played 43 in the last 43 games. Most of the games have been within 7 points, so 1 score. And I think 17 of them have been within 3 points. So these are always tight games. They're close. Baltimore's coming off maybe the worst primetime win I've ever seen against Cleveland. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched.
Thank God we didn't watch that.
It was the worst game.
That was terrible. I don't know what's the Ravens are. I don't really trust them. I don't think they deserve to be an 8-3 team. I wonder if the running back situation is going to start catching up with them. I'm just so many things here. Just injuries for Baltimore. Bet Pittsburgh. It's going to be a 3-point probably loss for them, but they'll cover that spread.
Yeah, definitely. I'm probably going to go Pittsburgh with the points for it, not money line. I'm going to go Pittsburgh here as well too. Bounce back game. I think the most embarrassing game Ben Roethlisberger's had in his career from I've seen. Right, it's an RIP game for him, so he's got to bounce back. Joe, go ahead.
So these games for the longest time when both these teams were good for like 15 years, there was at one point, I want to say it was like 5 seasons or something, every game was decided by 3 points or less for some ridiculous stretch. So Ravens 8-3, I've talked about it, and Rob kind of mentioned it too. This is not a team when you look at it, you watch them all season, you're like, this is an 8-3 team. I feel like they got really lucky. I always point to that Tucker field goal in Detroit just as the kind of like the telling point. But before Rob went on his rant, I said Baltimore by the 4.5. And to be honest, the only reason I would take Pittsburgh is, not so much they got embarrassed because they're a terrible team. They deserve to be embarrassed. More so a division game. They play well against Baltimore. That being said, I'm going to go Ravens. Ravens by 4.5. I feel like I pulled an Igor, but I feel like everybody's going to be taking the points in this division game, coming off a blowout. There's so many things pointing, take them. But Baltimore's record against the spread, and once again, I don't have the records in front of me, but this is a team that is, I was going to say, below average compared for a team that's 8-3. So I'm going to take Baltimore there by the 4.5. I think that, maybe by 7. Ben's not good. We know that. I want to see him run for his life and just kind of stumble to the ground like an old man.
Well, TJ Watt got updated. He's actually off the COVID list, so he's playing as well too.
Oh, okay.
Igor, go ahead.
You know what? Like, just say what you want about the Ravens. Lamar had a terrible game last week with 4 interceptions and so forth against Cleveland. They still covered the spread. I don't know if that tells you more about them or Cleveland. And again, Brandon started it off. I think the Baltimore defense, again, usually a very blitzing defense against a guy that really is having a trouble moving and so forth. I'm going to take that Lamar is going to bounce back from his terrible game and have a great game, and Ben's going to have a mediocre one, and that's going to be the difference, and the Ravens will win by a touchdown and call it what it is.
I'm with Rob, man. I'm with Rob. Rob, riding this to the sunset, man.
Yeah, let me tell you something. The Vegas set this trap for you guys, and you guys just walked right on into it. This is a trap line. Calling it right now. Pittsburgh.
Why? Pittsburgh's a public team. I understand it. Brandon circled this game. We're going to leave with this game next week.
I'm circling this game for sure. We're going to leave this game. Yeah, first thing.
61% of the money's on Baltimore. So people are not betting Pittsburgh. And they knew this. They knew this was – this should have been 6.5, 7 the way Pittsburgh has been playing. 4.5. It started open at 3.5 too. They knew what they were doing.
Vegas is really tricky.
You're probably right. And I'm not gonna love this game.
Those division games and so forth. But like I said, it's just the Steelers again with Roethlisberger, and again at the team that gave Detroit their only semi victory of the year too, right? So and that was in Pittsburgh. So.
And Rob, you guys always talk, division game, whatever. Let's not forget, Brandon, you can let them know. Last week was a division game against Cincinnati. They didn't come to play.
And they
didn't come to play.
So all these rules we make up, coming off a bye, division game, give me 3 points. It doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
Hey,
but we're going to talk about this game next week.
Yeah, definitely. Lead the game. Lead next episode with this. Anyways, we're going to go to, I have to say, poor star Jimmy. playing his butt off against the Seahawks in Seattle. The 49ers are favored by 3.5 points. Similar line to the game we just spoke about, but The Niners are rolling right now. Do you think that their luck runs out in Seattle in this division game as well, too? Joe, we can start with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm looking at it right now. Everybody's taking San Fran. And why would you not? Russell Wilson's been terrible since he's come back. He's obviously not, 100%. San Fran started off my winning streak a few weeks ago when I ended up taking them against Jacksonville. It was like a 7-point favorite. And I said, sure, this is where they turned it around. I feel like everybody's going to be taking Seattle today or tomorrow, because, like I said, why wouldn't you? And that gives me all the reason to take Seattle. If everybody's going to take San Fran, I'm going Seattle. This might come down to a last-second field goal. Another division game on the road. Seattle's been terrible. Coming off that Monday night game, they've just been atrocious. I think it's going to be low scoring, and I'm going to take Seattle. Might end up pulling this out. Why not? Makes sense.
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Rob's not impressed.
Yeah, Rob's not impressed. Rob, go ahead. Sorry.
Man.
No, it just doesn't. This line, another one. This line
fishy,
doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't make any sense. So Seattle's got probably the biggest home field advantage right now. Them and probably Denver, I'd say. So it's 2.5 point. Let's say 3 points. Are they saying that Seattle's the better team right now? Russell Wilson can't throw a football. This line makes no sense.
It's very Denver, LA Chargers last week. Fishy.
Yeah, I think this is a trap again. I'm going Seattle. This is a trap line. I think Vegas is out for blood this week. I think this is a week where they're going to take people out.
Yeah, Vegas has lost a lot of money, right? So this is their week to bounce back, eh?
And Seattle's 1-10 over under. That is awful. Like 1 over. And yet they're almost fit. Yeah, one over 10 unders. That's I might hit the under.
I was gonna say you got to bet the over in that case, man.
I might go under.
I'm not gonna always try. You have to go against the Treds. Igor, go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead.
Again, I think certain things have definitely affected the line. I for one, I think Debo being out, which has been the San Fran's biggest weapon for the majority of the year, him not being able to play probably affected the line a little bit. I think the Hawks know that their season is over. I think at 3-8, I think they're pretty much out of it. They'd have to run the table and get supremely lucky to even have a sniff at the playoffs. Wilson's injured. I think this will be a big Eli Mitchell game, to be honest with you. I think he's going to have a big-time running situation. Everything health-wise points to the Niners, minus the Debo situation. I'm going to take porn star Jimmy to win by a touchdown.
Fred Warner's out too.
Can I say something here? Like, this is crazy. So the spread is basically saying this is a pick'em game on a neutral, correct? Like 3.5. It's basically saying that they're even teams. Seattle has the worst ranked defense and second worst offense. San Fran has the 6th best defense and the 12th best offense, and they're saying these are even teams. This is this doesn't make any sense. This line, like none. Debo is worth 7 points. This is like.
I think if Debo plays, it's probably up to like 6. I think
Debo and Fred Warner.
Points.
Fred Warner's out too.
Fred Warner too.
Fred Warner's out too.
I don't care who you are. No non-quarterback moves a spread more than 2 points. No, but I don't care how good Debo is. This is
the Seattle. Go ahead, Sarah.
This line. This should be a 7-point spread if he doesn't play. And it's the fact it's at 2. It'll open to 2.5. This is
7. I feel is too high for a road division.
Yeah,
game
and it's in
like
Seattle. So you mentioned they're giving the Seahawks home advantage, some stuff there as well.
Seattle just came off of Monday night.
Yeah,
Seattle's on a short week too.
They didn't travel though, right? Like one more day, they stayed at home. They're chilling. I don't know. I just wanted to bring something up really quick, Rob. What I've noticed since Russell went down, and this happens all the time. It doesn't matter your personnel. They've been a terrible defense, especially this year, right? When Russell went down, I just want to go through their last few games. I'll just start with the Saints. Their defense has been playing really well, whether it's being bad teams or not. So 13 points they gave up against the Saints. Against the Jags, they gave up 7 and they won. Against the Packers, 17 points. And Aaron was playing. Gave up 23 to the Cardinals and 17 last week. Like, these are low-scoring games. And I feel like they're going to be in the game because of that. Their defense is going to bring it. Like I said, the personnel really is not there. But the fact that they have to make up for it, you see it all the time. Guys just step up their game. And this is probably my lock of the week, I'm probably going to say.
This is my lock of the week as well, because this is a Russell Wilson game. Russell Wilson has to prove to his fans in Seattle that he's actually wants to be there and he actually still believes in it because he's played awful. This is the worst he's ever played. Right, you take a lot of other players before Russell Wilson right now. Some people were saying they'll take Tyler Heineke in their future before Russell Wilson. That's what it's gotten to. So I'm going to take Seattle to cover the 3.5 points. Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
No, his finger's bad. Like he's a quarterback. His finger's bad. I can't. This line makes no sense. I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on. Let's too
All
much
right,
Seattle
well,
talk.
Too much Seattle. Going on to a game, Rob's Denver Broncos going to the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium. Andy Reid is 19-3 off a bye. 19-3 off the bye. Understand that. Want to let you guys know that's a big deal. And I think the KC Chiefs, and no Jackson Mahomes as well. Jackson Mahomes, ever since he's left and not been in the games, they've been 4-0 the entire year. So, Igor, I'm going to start with you. What do you think about this game?
I mean, 9.5 in a division-based game where, I mean, the Broncos are coming off a pretty sweet win. I'm taking the Broncos to cover that all day in a primetime game. I think, the Broncos secondary is one of the better ones in the league. Even without Von Miller, the defense is still playing quite well. I don't know if it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater or if it's going to be Drew Lock, but that Kansas City defense still has some issues. And if you're going to give me 9.5 in a division game where the other team is 6-5 and only a game behind KC, give me the Broncos all day.
Rob?
So last week we had Denver at home plus 2.5. Line made no sense. I thought it was too short. This week, I think the line is now, it doesn't make sense again. It's too long. I don't think this should have been a 10-point spread. I think this should have been under a touchdown. Kansas City or I shouldn't say Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has owned Denver. But I think this spread is so big that it doesn't make sense. Denver's defense is set up to stop Kansas City's offense. They are a too high safety team, and that's the way you stop KC. Yet it was still hung at 10.5. This line screams blowout to me. I would lean Kansas City if I had to play a game here. I would take KC here.
Really? Oh my goodness!
They're playing really well. Chris Jones is back, and he's the key to that defense. I don't know. I'd lean KC.
You just pulled an Igor. You're like, this is the Denver defense is primed to stop the cat.
Yep.
But okay, Joey, go ahead.
I'm still out of it.
You're muted.
Oh, we've lost.
No, we didn't lose. I came back with some smoke, guys. Give me Kansas City. I think that they found their mojo. Rob talked about the defense is playing well. It doesn't make sense, and I think the Igor is whenever you're building a story for a team, it makes sense to take that team. You're going to go the complete opposite way. And last week, like I said with Denver, we all looked at each other and we're like, we all liked the Chargers, and we realized, wow, everybody likes the Chargers. Let's not do that.
I picked the Denver Broncos. I believe.
You drank the Kool-Aid
as well.
But, go ahead, Rob. Yeah,
I as well took Denver. All right, sorry, I took Denver last week.
Yeah, well, a bunch of us took Denver. Joey, it was in your top 5.
Yeah, made $40 off it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Just to finish up, I think that Denver is gonna. Kansas City's defense has never been great. I feel like Kansas City's defense is best when their offense is on the field the whole time, and I feel like this is going to be one of those games. I think they're going to get back to running the ball. They're going to do whatever they want against Denver. Denver has some injuries as well, like every other team. Teddy Bridgewater and the guys. It's not a spot primetime game. It is the Sunday nighter, right?
Yep.
Sunday nighter, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday nighter. Like the last time we got together was a Sunday nighter when they were embarrassed at home against the Bills. Mm-hmm. I think that Kansas City's gonna hit their stride to just wrap it up. I think Kansas City's gonna win by 14 or 20.
Oh wow. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go with Kansas City as well. Melvin Gordon's out. Melvin Gordon's a really integral piece with him and Javonte Williams in the run game. I'm gonna go Kansas City with 9.5 points plus no Jackson Mahomes. So that means good luck for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, now going to Igor's team on Monday. I think this is probably the game of the AFC East thus far. It has to be. I'm looking forward to this game. I think everyone's kind of looking forward to this game because Mac Jones has turned into a robot since July. Now he's become a robot. He's become Bill Belichick's robot. Played really well last week against, oh my goodness, the Tennessee Titans. Is that right?
Yeah.
Against Tennessee.
Yeah, that was that game we circled last week too.
Yes.
It was a 7-point spread. Yeah.
Kendrick Bourne had 2 touchdowns, but the New England Patriots playing the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. 3-point favorites for the Buffalo Bills. Igor, go ahead, man. What do you think?
The hottest team in the NFL. I never thought I would say that this year, but the hottest team has been the New England Patriots. You know what? It's last year in this spot, the Buffalo Bills absolutely trounced them. That was the lowest spot in my fandom for the New England Patriots. They got blown out by about 30-plus points. The game was over by the third quarter. They're playing really, really well. They're due for a loss, though. And the realistic situation is they're due for a loss. The Bills, this is pretty much their biggest game of the year at home. There are concerns. They lost Tre'Davious White for the season with an ACL.
ACL.
ACL,
He
yeah.
was their Pro Bowl corner, so that's going to be a big
That's
loss.
rough. Yeah.
I think the Bills are just going to come out real strong for this game, and I think New England will pay them back at Foxborough, but I'm going to have to take the Bills to win the game and cover the spread, unfortunately. But I hope I'm wrong.
Wow. Joe, Rob, go ahead.
This is my of course game. Like after I see the final score, I'm going to say, well, of course.
Yeah,
because
it doesn't make sense.
yeah, well, New England is apparently really bad weather, and New England is a power running team. So if they win, of course they won because they ran the ball. But I also look at the spread and say, Buffalo's super undervalued. This was I believe the spread was -7 preseason line. So there's 4.5 points of adjustment from the preseason. And so I'm sitting there saying, this is Buffalo's just undervalued. So either way, I'm going to have, of course that team won or covered. But for me, it's a coin flip. I don't really have anything on this game. I think I really want to fade New England, but this is a good spot for them. It's also a pretty good spot for Buffalo off big rest. I'll lean Buffalo, but I'm not into this game. I can't wait to watch it though. I'm excited to watch the game. This might be the two best teams. It could be the two best teams in the AFC. It really could be.
Yeah.
I think it is. Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I kind of teased it before. I love the Bills here. Onigo was talking about it. Tre'Davious White went down, and he's probably been like a top 5 corner in the league now for a few years. But I just think that, at home, we know that Buffalo's going to get crazy. Borders back and open, so there's probably going to be some Canadians making the trip too. I think that this one, New England's due for a loss. They are at this point, right? Like we've been riding them for a while. I've been riding them as well, and rightfully so. They keep winning. But I think that their luck's going to run out tomorrow, and I'm going to be all over the Bills -3. I think they're going to have a good game plan for Mac Jones. I think they're going to force him to do some things he doesn't want, maybe get him running a little bit more. And I think that they're going to, get to 10 or 14 points. Not going to have their usual offensive, and Bills going to win big.
Honestly, Tre'Davious White hasn't been that great this year. Like, contrary, if you guys actually been watching the team, he's gotten burned a few times, and I hope he rested, but he hasn't been great. Jalen Poyer has been playing really well, and that secondary's been playing pretty decent for the Buffalo Bills. We should definitely make the of course game segment of the week. A segment every week. We take one game is like, of course. I think that's a great idea coming from Rob right there. I think that's gold right there. I'm gonna lean towards the Bills as well to cover at home. There's gonna be a lot, as you said. I already know around 10 Canadians that are going to this game. I wish I was going. I think New England's due for a loss, but I would not be surprised if New England and Mac Jones surprises everyone in his first game in Buffalo. This is his first game played in Buffalo, by the way. So that's gonna be great. All right. I guess those are all. That's our entire rundown of the games this week. Want to get your 5 picks? I'll write down the picks, Joey, and send it to you. And know you're having fun in LA.
I got last week's records. If you want me to go through it.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man.
So basically, Joey went with the Giants, who covered, Tampa Bay, who covered, Jacksonville did not, the Rams did not, and Denver did not. So that means
Denver did. Denver won.
Denver did.
Yeah, Denver. So that's basically Jacksonville and the Rams didn't win. So Jay went 3-2.
What was my lock?
His lock was the Rams. Sorry, Jay.
FML.
Myself, I went with New England, who won, Jacksonville, who lost, the Texans, who lost, the Rams, who lost, and Baltimore covered. So I went 2-3. My lock was New England, though I finally broke that duck.
Nice. Finally.
Brandon went with Houston, who did not cover. New England, who did. Philly, who did not. Minnesota, who I believe did. No, Minnesota beat San Francisco. No, they lost, right?
Oh wow.
San Fran won 34-26. San Fran won.
Yes.
Yeah, so no Minnesota. So you got Houston wrong, Philly wrong, Minnie wrong, and Green Bay right. So you went 2-3. Your lock
had to be this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My lock was Philly.
Your lock was Philly, so that was a no-go.
Oh.
As for Rob, he went Rams, which was a no-go. Giants, which covered. Indy did not cover. Cleveland did not cover, and Tennessee did not cover. So that was 1-4 with Indy being the lock, and that did not happen thanks to regular season Lenny.
In my defense, I I said before the week, I said my picks are going to be awful this week. I just knew. I could
So
feel it.
I think back-to-back weeks, the appropriate picks with Mr. Fafari. I think back-to-back, he's been the one to go with.
Yeah.
This guy's in LA celebrating right now. We're gonna
LA
knock him.
celebrations.
Yeah, knock him off his pedestal right now, man. You got to do it.
It's not
All
gonna
right.
happen.
All right, Igor, you want to start? Do you want to go with your 5 or whoever's ready to go with 5?
I'll go with my 5 to start off. So,
Yeah,
all right. So let's say, give me the Las Vegas Raiders, the Baltimore Ravens.
yeah.
Give me the Vikings, and give me the Bengals. Is that 5 or is that 4?
That's 4.
And last but not least, give me. Oh, it's not exactly great pickings. Give me the Colts.
Colts. There you go. Not bad picks. Rob, ready?
I'll go with the Chargers. I'll go with the Falcons. I'll go with the Giants.
Wow.
I'll go with the Steelers. And my only favorite, I'll go with Vegas.
Vegas. Wow. Okay. Joey, want to go ahead?
Okay, so I wrote down 6 teams here. I'll try and get it, or 7. I'll try and get it down. First game, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm going to go Minnesota minus the 7.5. The Detroit record against the spread has me sold. I'm also going to take Seattle plus 3.5 there. I'm going to take Kansas City minus 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Bears plus the 7.5. And I'm going to go Rams minus the 13. And I'm smelling a 5 for 5.
Wow. You have the most odd picks, but they always hit. It's so weird.
I've got Vikings minus 7 on mine. I don't know which ones we're using, but I mean that helps.
Yeah, 7's fine. Yeah, I'll take the 7, whatever. Well, usually we just go with the score line because usually adjust.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Buffalo. 3 points. That's gonna be tough. I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs at home. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Oh, these are all really terrible. Let me take the Steelers out of there. I don't trust anyone. I'm gonna take the Bengals. All right, I'll take the Bengals, of course. All right. I'm gonna take the Colts. Yeah, the Colts are definitely a game that you definitely have to take. And I'm gonna go with the Eagles as well. I'm gonna go with the Eagles as well. I got Buffalo, KC, Bengals.
Every time Brandon puts the Bengals in his top 5, they get shellacked or something.
Yes, right?
So I think
they're due. They're due. This will be the last time I do. I know I say that every week, but that's the last time. All right, I need.
Remember when Brandon threatened to leave the team?
Last time I do it, the third time out.
Yeah.
All right, I need everyone's locks of the week. So I'll start with Joey. What's your lock of the week?
Okay, so because I had 6 games, I'm gonna put my 6th game in as my lock of the week. My 6th game was Buffalo minus 3. I'm going to take Buffalo minus 3 for my lock. So I'm going to go with 6 games there. Yeah.
Rob?
This is a tough one because I really want to take Pittsburgh, but I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think that's the lock.
I like the Chargers too. I feel like I could make a 10-game ticket, Rob. You know I'm going to do one.
This is going to be You're not even in to put the OLG.
I'm mailing them in, baby. Don't worry. I got
Igor, what's your lock of the week?
You know what? I'm gonna go Vegas.
I like that.
Vegas.
I'm gonna go Vegas.
I'm gonna co-sign one of Igor's picks. I have some faith in that.
Yeah. See, I want that too. I really want Vegas as well. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go with the Colts as my lock.
Okay, I got confidence in all 4 of our locks. Good.
Yeah, I got the Colts covering the 10.5 points. 10 points, so of course, in against Houston. Please God, please Lord. I'm really, really hoping this actually follow through. But guys, are there any takeaways? One game you want to talk about for the week? What's your game of the week altogether? What's the one game of the week?
I think if you're looking at playoff teams, it has to be the Monday nighter, right? Like there's some other good games I'm looking at too, but for both teams, it has to be the Monday nighter. The only other ones that I'm really looking at here, San Fran and Seattle, but Seattle's clearly out of it. Although I think they're probably going to win this week, and then KC and Denver is going to be a good one. But there's not too many elite teams going against each other this week, so I think that the Monday nighter is probably the one.
There you go. You guys all feel the same, Rob?
I really want to say the Chargers game just because it's basically like
it's going to be a good one.
It's a huge game for both teams. I think it's Chargers season. Chargers loses, they're done. And since he's kind of, they've got to win to kind of keep pace, in the AFC, try to catch Baltimore because they still have a chance. But the Monday nighter, that's for the division. This is one of the.
This is it.
This is it, right? Like if New England wins this, Buffalo's in tough, right? Because then they're gonna have the tiebreaker, or they'll have the Buffalo won't have the tiebreaker against New England, so New England's looking for a split, I'm sure, between the two games.
Yeah, definitely. Igor, same thing Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the measuring stick for my Patriots. I think they probably haven't gotten the just respect because again they have been in some decent spots and they played the better teams. Where besides maybe the Chargers game, Cleveland might have been a little bit injured. Tennessee came in really busted up. So this is their measuring stick. I think if they win this game in Buffalo, I think a lot of people will take them for real. I don't know where they are in the power rankings for Rob, but if they win that game, I mean they're definitely a threat. Coming out of that AFC situation. So, yeah, I'll be watching that big time on Monday night.
I was going to end it, but I want to know, Igor, Rob, what's your top 5 teams in your rankings right now?
Top 5. I got Baltimore at 5, although I think they're a little high. I got New England at 4.
There you go.
Green Bay at 3, Tampa at 2, and Arizona at 1.
Wow. Wait, so not even the Colts. You think the Ravens are better than the Colts?
That one, I put Baltimore up there. That might be a mistake. I freaked out. I dropped. I don't know. But the Colts, I just don't trust Carson Wentz, and if I don't trust your quarterback, you don't.
I've been on mute the whole time.
I think it's tough. I think it's tough putting. The Colts are. As much as they have a lot of talent, they're still a 500 team, right? They're 6-6. I don't think you can put them up there with.
But they've hit their stride the last 2 months. I feel like they were really bad at the beginning of the year. They were adjusted with a new quarterback.
They were missing Quentin Nelson, who's basically their best player. Like, I think they're the best team in that division still. No, sorry, Joe.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. And we talk about this all the time, especially now with all the guys out. Like, they are the best. I was gonna say when I was on mute, I would say there's 2 things when you look at. Brand's having a good laugh, but like you look at teams that are in form, and then you look at also body of work, right? And you have to kind of put both those things in. Like Arizona's been, not the team most in form with their injuries, but the team best season obviously so far.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the Colts, and it's not really a body of work. Although, like I said, they started off slow. It's just where do you see this team going? And then if Tennessee gets Derrick Henry back and their wideouts, which are never going to come back healthy, you say, okay, this is a conversation. But Tennessee's beat them twice, and the Colts have been healthy all year too, right? And then just lastly, on Igor's point about New England and Buffalo, I was going to say, no matter who wins that game, man, to be honest, it doesn't even matter if it's a blowout. Those teams, you're going to rank them neck and neck at the end of the season as well, I think.
Yep, definitely. All right, we're good to go, guys? Good to go, Joe? All right.
I was going to say, hopefully next weekend, we're going to be together watching a game, celebrating. So
we're doing an Instagram live from the table as we eat wings.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's gonna happen.
So
hopefully they're cooked. Hopefully they're cooked right now.
Yeah, we got to go to a different spot. Or else Rob's gonna have a lawsuit going.
All right, guys, on the Block Podcast. Take care.